I wanted to love this bike immediately, but I wasn't sure that I would. Every other bike that I've ever ridden, I've fallen in love with, and making that jump to electric, I wasn't sure if I was ready for it. But after living with it, here's some things that surprised me about this bike. Number one, the torque hits hard, way harder than I ever expected. As soon as you get your equilibrium figured out and it stops twitching and your eyes aren't blurry anymore, you realize how fast you're going and how little distance it took to get there. It's not soulless like I expected, so I was a bit nervous, getting this bike, not being able to shift, not having a exhaust sound, not having the motor, but riding it, this thing's got its own soul. It's completely different. So city riding is exactly where it shines, and I commend Livewire for kind of basically selling it as such, because it really is a city bike. That stoplight to stoplight, goofing around with your buddies, all that stuff, that's where it's at. So the whole silent thing, it changed my whole perspective on riding. I'll get I guess romantic here for a second. When I was riding down next to the water, going 20-25 miles an hour, looking around, it not being loud and obnoxious was peaceful. It's great. A lot of people almost look at the bike like it's a novelty or like it's kind of like a toy. It's definitely not a Sur-Ron on steroids. No, this is a real bike. It's a real motorcycle. It does have some novelty to it though, and that is something that I'm figuring out as I continue to ride. Being as fast as it is, amazing, blows me away every time I ride it. Kind of funny, a lot of people will come up to me and ask, hey, how much is the bike? And a few of their estimates are like, what's it, like $5,000, something like that, and I think that they just assume that if it's electric, it might as well just be, a mountain bike with a little EV motor attached to it, and this bike isn't. So, in all honesty, do I miss gas bike or the elements to gas bikes? And I'm going to say no, while I'm riding it, I don't. However, this isn't the bike that solves all your problems. It's not the one bike that fits all. While I'm riding the bike, it's perfect. I don't miss shifting. I don't miss the sound of the exhaust. It more than makes up for it with its instant power, its torque. Range anxiety. It's real. I know one example. I'm out riding for the day, didn't have a plan at all. Stopped at a place for lunch, started just thinking about, all right, what do I want to go do next? What's next up? And as I came up with a new spot to go ride, it dawned on me that, better go check mileage and see what kind of range that I have. And it was right on that edge where it just wasn't worth taking that risk and going for that longer ride that I anticipated about halfway through. Again, not planning it out, but I chose not to do the ride. While I'm riding the bike, range anxiety isn't really there, with the gauge and everything telling you exactly your mileage, your distance, exactly where you're at. You do have to plan your ride ahead for the best results on that. So while I'm riding, range anxiety, not too big of a deal. Mid-ride, switch-ups, if the group wants to go out somewhere else, you do have that limiting factor. But I haven't been at the point where I'm riding and scared or nervous, like, shit, am I going to make it home? So this bike definitely does not replace my love of all motorcycles or anything like that, but it definitely challenges it. It brings a whole new light to riding. It's a whole different riding style that is a blast. All right, so who is this bike for? So number one, city riders. Man, this thing rips in the city. I've nicknamed mine the City Ripper because that's what it's built for. And again, Livewire really is promoting this bike, like the city riding and things like that. And it does everything and more, especially for just the short ride around town or just bar hopping a little bit with your buddies. People that just go on short to medium rides. So my experience has been I can ride like a full hooligan, going full throttle, wheelies all over the place. and still getting easy 80-mile ranges. So those short to medium rides, man, this thing blows every bike out of the water. Also, riders who value immediacy, meaning there's nothing that you have to go warm up. There's no oil checks. There's, no pre-check maintenance, things like that. You literally press the start button and just twist the throttle. I mean, make sure you're ready because it's ready before you are. And so, that type of mindset before a ride, even like my Grom, super low maintenance, super low warm-up time, if anything. But there still is a couple more steps, involved before you go out for a ride. So literally being able to just roll out of your garage, hit that start button, and rip, it's super cool. People that do value that don't have to think about it, push a button and ride. People that are open to something different. I mean, it is different, and you do have to be open for it. Kind of closed-minded. You're probably going to find some things that you don't like. But yeah, keeping an open mind. This thing is where it's at. So I'm not anti-gas, anything like that. I'm also not about overhyping EVs or anything like that, but this one, it does shine, and I'll be honest with the hype about it. So why am I making this channel? Basically, I love motorcycles. I'm gonna ride anything that rips, whether it's fast, slow, different, has some flaws. This channel isn't gonna be, kind of a EV versus gas, but I'm here to do the comparisons. I'm gonna be real, I'm gonna be honest about it. I am gonna do some mods with the bike. Take you guys along for that. If you are paying attention real close, you've seen I've already done a couple of things, but I'll go over that, and then there's plenty more to come. If it's fast, if it's interesting, if it's flawed, if it's slow, I'm here to talk about it. Next, I'm going to talk about what I don't love. Having lived with it for a little while, there are some things. It isn't the perfect bike, and I'm going to go over why. So stick with me. If you did like what you see, subscribe and follow along because it's going to be a good journey.